Hey gang, Roden here. Welcome on back to the Cade and welcome to another edition of Sports Saturday. And for this week, because again we are still mired in the dog days of summer, and trying to find a decent sports game during this time of the year is a lot harder than you may think. We're going to go in a slightly different direction and play a game I've never tried before, but it's definitely on the short list of games that I've been told I should play at least once in my life. We are going to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 from 2000 on the PlayStation 1. Now, if you know this game, then obviously this is not going to be anything that will be unfamiliar to you. One thing I have to do here is I've got to turn down the music on this, because if I don't want to get a copyright strike, I can't be having all that stuff playing in the background. So sadly, we're not going to have any music to go with our game this week. But that stem breaks when you're putting something up on YouTube. But I want to play this game for a couple reasons. One, again, it is very much on the short list of one of the great video games of all time. And two, I've never played it. I've never actually played any Tony Hawk Pro Skater game ever. And to be honest, I was going to try and show the first game this week, but unfortunately I could not find a good enough copy of it that would work on my PlayStation emulator. Again, I'm using PCSXR, which is a free emulator, but in checking out multiple files online at multiple sites, it all comes down to, looks like the same source disk, which was really choppy, had really bad loading problems, whereas this one didn't. So, if you know where I can find a good copy of the original Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, by all means, leave it in the comments below and let me know. That way, it's something that I can take a look at and try out, and then hopefully profile at a later date. So we're just going to do the career mode over the next 25 minutes or so and see how far we can get and see if this is a game I can actually figure out. Now, I have a little bit going for me, even though, again, I've never played a Tony Hawk game, but one of my favorite PlayStation 2 games is SSX Tricky, which is one I've profiled here on Sports Saturday before. Now, I know that the controls in this game are not terrible, and if anything, it's just a matter of being able to stack moves together to get maximum points. And so far, I would say I'm not doing that bad. Although, watch the wall. .360 kick flip. Oh, nice rail grind right there. Oh, but I face planted. Well, I've already hit the 10,000 points I need to be able to get in the good graces of scoring high on the level. So I won't argue about that any. I do like that the X button gives you just... Ow, as I slam right into the wall. Sorry, Tony. In the same way that on SSX Tricky, you build up enough speed that you can actually pull off some decent moves. I tried a gymnast plant and planted right on my face. Tried that rail grind and it didn't end well. But I'm still doing okay here. Well, I was until I tried to kick flip and ended up flat on my back. We wrapped with a 180 melon. And for our trouble, we get $100, which is something. Don't know who career A was, but we'll just overwrite it. And we managed to get to 12,104 points. So let's see what we can get with our $100, shall we? I can't imagine we can get much. So anything we can buy in the skate shop for $100? I doubt it. Nope, doesn't look it. But what's enough that we can unlock another level? Need $1,000 more to unlock it. So it looks like in order to advance further in this mode, we need to get a lot gooder. Now, the thing that I have been told is the overwhelming positive about this game is that it is, in fact, quite easy to get good if, like most other games, you put in the time and the energy. Oh, I thought I had it, and I had a nose slide and gave myself a nosebleed. Alright, let's try this again. Let's see if I can... Oh, we can get up on those. Oh. So it looks like for this, it's a matter of maintaining your balance while on the rail. Oh, I thought I was coming down on the ramp with the stale fish and did not. Now I'm getting into some 360s here. Oh, tried the stale fish and again and got creamed for it. Ow. Oh, try the mute and totally face planted. We're gonna face plant again with the Indy nose bone. Trying to keep good proximity is harder than it looks, I'm finding, as I went right over the top of the old World War II plane and totally wiped myself out. So let's see if we can go any further here. Half pipe hang time, but I paid for it and did it again. I think because I'm using an Xbox One controller, it's trying to get the rotation around is a little bit harder than if I was using just the standard D-pad, which I know you're able to do on the original PlayStation because it didn't have the DualShock yet. There we go. Now you got to be able to start stacking moves together. So it's, in that way, it's not much different than a fighting game in that if you can get the rhythm right and you can start stacking moves and get enough height under it, then you can really start piling stuff up. Oh! I thought I was close enough to unlocking that special gauge. thought I pulled the 720. But I got a higher score at this point, which is a good sign. Oh, I just pulled that off. Well, I'm up to 17,500. I landed 27 tricks, and I landed, my big one was a 540 kick flip plus the stale fish, although my best combo was two tricks for 2,900 points. So I'm 10 minutes in, and I'm already moving along quite nicely. Ooh! But I'm wiping out on the nose bone. Now, by the time I was a teenager in the 90s, I and pretty much everybody else in the US knew who Tony Hawk was. Even though, again, I wasn't into skateboarding, I didn't know the culture or anything. That wasn't my particular tribe. It was pretty much impossible not to know who Tony Hawk was. And then when I got out of college and started working in media, was right around the time the X Games took off. And it's not an unfair observation to say, really, that until like Shaun White came along and became the biggest personality in snowboarding, Tony Hawk ruled the X Games. I mean, it was must-see TV whenever you saw him on a half pipe. And seeing what sort of tricks that he could manage to pull out that seemed so improbable. You know, the skateboarding and extreme sports needed that. That's the thing about any new sort of endeavor. You need somebody who can be the face of it. And you may not like Tony Hawk. You may think there's better skaters out there. That's your prerogative. I don't have a dog in the fight as I slam him right into a wall. But not only do you need guys that you can like, but you need guys you can like and hate. And Tony Hawk fit that mold. And you may not think this is an apt comparison, but in my experience and with what I know of, you know, different sports and different characters who came to define those sports, in that way, Tony Hawk was very much like a Muhammad Ali. Now, Ali wasn't the first boxer that everybody thought of as the best at the time he started. But now, 60 years after his career, and sadly within a decade of his passing, it's still very much a case of, you ask somebody who's the first boxer you think of when you think of the sport, and the majority of them, if they don't say Mike Tyson, are going to say Muhammad Ali. Well, because Tony Hawk was the man, that's what allowed him to be able to get the endorsement deals and have companies like Activision wanting to make games with his name on it. Well, that was terrible because I only got 8,300 points. So... Oh! Ouch. Now, on Metacritic, the PlayStation 1 version is still easily considered the best version of this game. It ranks at 98 out of 100, although the Dreamcast version is right behind it at 97. The PC version is at 91. And of all of them, the Nintendo 64 version is the lowest rated at 84. And as I talked about last week with WCW Mayhem, the fact that the controls for the N64 were so convoluted, it makes sense that that one, by comparison to the PlayStation 1 and even the Dreamcast, which had a far more ergonomic and easy to operate controller than the N64, would rank higher. But also what they talk about is with the PlayStation and the Dreamcast versions especially are the graphic fidelity and the ability to better track how you are doing as you are pulling all these tricks off that the N64, because it was on a cartridge, just could not compete with. Now, Dave Smith of IGN praised the game's controls as being, quote, in a rarefied category with games like Quake 3 and Soul Calibur, games that do exactly what you want them to do, exactly when you want them to do. He also elaborated on how the graphical improvements between this version and the original made it that much better. And while the 64 version was well reviewed, they did point out that it was just because the 64 could not compete at that point with what Sony and Sega had put out with their next-gen consoles. It was really a case of them just trying to, not necessarily flog a dead horse, but Nintendo hadn't started working on the Wii yet. Or even the GameCube, I should say, because the GameCube came out between the 64 and the Wii. But I'm already at 8,500 points, which is a good sign. Oh, man, I was putting a good string together there. Now I'm finding myself getting stuck in the situation of... Oh, I pulled the perfect nose bone. Tried the very old kick flip. That didn't work. Ah! I just cannot get enough rotation around. Oh, I keep thinking I got it, and then I just don't get that last little bit through, and then I splat on the top, or on the base of the half pipe. Alright, so I think I'll give it one more whirl. And it's also trying not to pull the same trick. Well, I took the barrels out, so that's something. Because I know it's all based on which button I'm pushing and which direction I have on the control stick will determine what I'm doing here. This is gonna hurt. Oh, I managed to land on my wheels. Oh, I had it, and then I fell right off, and that will hurt. Pulled the nose grab, and then I slammed right into the wall because I got a little bit cocky. And then bombed the stale fish. So I'm pulling 540s pretty regularly. And I'm up to just under 20,000 points. So my best trick was a no comply to a wingtip halftime plus a kickflip for nearly 3,000 points. So, I mean, I'm doing well. Which I guess you could take it as a good sign. I mean, like most of these games, it is a question of how much time and effort you want to put into it. But I can definitely see why gamers who enjoy these titles not only get so much out of it, but also why they've been so put off by the later versions that came out that apparently, as far as I understand, really jack with the mechanics of it and completely took out everything that made the games interesting. Still can't quite pull that one off. Can I get to 20,000 points though in the next 40 seconds? I'm getting close, but... Oof. Completely washed out there. I can land more of these tricks. Oh, that's a cracked skull. Oof, that's a broken spine. Now, this game did win Video Game of the Year 2000 by EGM in their 2001 issue. GameSpot also ranked it as the best sports game alternative for the year 2000. It got Best Dreamcast Game, Best PlayStation Game. It was nominated for the Best Nintendo 64 Game. It is ranked number 4 in Game Informer's Top 100 Games of All Time when it came out in August 2001. and it was listed as Game of the Year and game design, gameplay engineering, and for consoles at the 4th Annual Interactive Achievement Awards, which are now known as the DICE Awards. In 2003, IGN ranked Tony Hawk's Pro Skater number 2 number 20 in its top 100 games of all time. And then in the final issue of the official UK PlayStation magazine in 2004, it came in at 7th. So I think we'll try this one more time since we got about 5 minutes to go. And see if I can't get to 20,000 points. Ooh, that's going to be a rash. Ouch. And into the cockpit we go. Do the eggplant. Trying to pull the melon off that I keep not being able to get there. Oof. There, now I got it. But now I wipe out in the kickflip. If it's not one, it's the other. Get the nose bone. I'll wipe out on the melon again. .360, and I perfected that one, but I wipe out in the heel flip. And I finished at 13,975 points. And my best combo for this one was a 360 kickflip to a half pipe hang time. So, well, I mean, again, I could probably play this for another 3 hours and see if I can get any better at it. But for a first-time go-through of a game I've never played until now, I totally get why this game is something that people can get into really quickly, and also seems to be one that has stood the test of time, because it seems the most openly accessible to gamers like me who have never tried it, but also for guys who either have skating experience or know how to be able to handle the mechanics of a game like this. It seems to be right up their street, which is something we've always talked about on this channel, is trying to find that right balance between accessibility for as broad a market as you're looking to get, but also looking to appeal the hardcore guys, and by that I mean gamers, not gender specific, who are going to be looking to invest the amount of time and energy into getting the most out of a game like this. Because let's not kid ourselves, skateboarding, for as much broad appeal as it has around the world, because all you need is a board and a pair of wheels and a good pair of trucks, and you can do pretty much anything on it if you take the time and energy to learn how to, manipulate the board properly. It's still playing to a very specific niche, just like SSX Tricky did with snowboarders. Not everybody's a snowboarder, not everybody's a skateboarder. But if you want to get people like me who aren't physically capable of doing it to get involved in a game that will allow you to live vicariously through it, and by that get an enjoyment out of being on a skateboard, it totally makes sense as to why this would be the game to go to. So that, everybody, is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 for the PS1 from 2000. If you've enjoyed me flying around like a loon and crashing and giving poor Tony more bodily trauma than I can possibly think he can endure, best way to show it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. Remember, we have Suckerpunch Sunday coming up tomorrow, where we'll play a classic fighting or fighting platform-based game from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation. And like today, more bodily trauma on pixelated characters will most likely be in the menu. Thank you to everybody who has been tuning in for our playthrough of the original Diablo for the PS1. We're a couple episodes into that. That's been a lot of fun. We'll have new episodes coming out again this next week. I'm trying to get them out every other day. My work schedule alternates between weeks. So I did a Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week. You'll probably see them hopefully Tuesday, Thursday, and then again on Saturday we'll have a new episode to come out with the next Sports Saturday. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Ronan's Retrocade to help spread the word so we can hit our goal of 100 subscribers as soon as we can. That way we can unlock the YouTube customization algorithm, make the channel bigger and better. We have crossed the 30 subscriber mark, so a big thank you to everybody who has given my pokey little Retrocade a look and hit that subscribe button. Your patronage is most appreciated. It gives me more incentive to keep going and find ways to make the channel bigger and by proxy make myself as a presenter and a gamer better for you guys. And as always, if there's a game you would like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive, SNK, Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a line on Instagram. It could be any game you want. And as always, my name is Ronan. It's been great to spend this Sports Saturday with you. Be safe, be well, be cool wherever you are. Still hot out there this summer, and we will talk to you again tomorrow for Suckerpunch Sunday. Bye.